Hello guys and welcome back. Welcome back to Dylan's Lobbies, and in today's video I am going to be reviewing Chapter 4 of Season 1, or the 4th episode of Season 1 of The Mandalorian. Let's go ahead and get into this. This video is probably going to be pretty darn short because I actually don't have a lot to say about this episode. It was a pretty good episode. I'm still enjoying The Mandalorian. I absolutely loved the show, and this episode was a fun adventure. It was a fun adventure. Now, was it as good as episode 3? No, it might be a while before I see anything as good as episode 3. But it was okay. It was a lot better than anything Disney has come out before, except with Rogue One. So trust me, I am not disappointed in any way when I say that this show was about average, but an average for Disney Star Wars is like super good, considering a lot of what they've come out with haven't been. So I am really enjoying The Mandalorian. Now let's go ahead and talk about this episode. So what happens is The Mandalorian, now that he has a kid, he's looking for a place to hide. He's looking for a place to get off the radars, the radars of the Bounty Hunter Guild, and more importantly, the remnants of the Empire. And I know you're gonna say, well, why don't you just go to the Rebel Alliance? Or it's not called the Rebel Alliance anymore. It's called the New Republic. And just like we got from last episode, the New Republic is a joke right now. The New Republic might be high and mighty in the inner core, but no one, especially a Mandalorian, is going to go and trust an inner core, a government that hasn't really been built very well. We just tore down the Empire. So, yeah, the Empire was the biggest threat. I don't believe we are just going to go straight to the inner core, to Coruscant, and hand over a Yoda baby, not believing, being a Mandalorian, not believing in the New Republic yet. You know what I mean? So, who knows? We might get there. But as for this episode, we travel to a new planet, which they don't show the names, and that's actually starting to get on my nerves. I really wish I knew the name of this planet. It is definitely not the planet that I first thought it was, which I first thought was Endor. It's definitely not Endor. I saw no, not Wookiees. What are the little bears called? I'll put it like right here, because just I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but it's just not coming to my mind what they're called. But we're definitely not on planet Endor. So we actually start this episode, and I actually thought that the start of the episode was maybe like his backstory or something. That turned out to be false. It turns out that there's this little tribe of people on this planet, this backwater world, and then out of nowhere, some bandits come and try to, of course, steal. You know, they're good. They're shrimp farmers. They farm alien shrimp, which I gotta say, I actually have kept shrimp. I'm a fish keeper. I love fish, and I actually have kept blue shrimp before. And man, those things were actually pretty cool to see in the Star Wars show, because they actually do look a little bit alien-like in real life. So I thought that was pretty cool. But after that, then the Mandalorian shows up with the baby. He finds a friend of his, and let me tell you that the new character, I never caught her name. I don't even think that she gave it. It feels very much like what happened in Thor Ragnarok. So if you don't know, Thor Ragnarok, in that movie, Thor Ragnarok gets he ends up on this weird planet, and he gets saved only to be captured by this lady who ends up being someone from Asgard who has been hiding away from Asgard because of her failures. She and it just the whole scene, the whole thing with this new lady in the Mandalorian just reminded me of it, and it's not that it disappointed me. It's just that this wasn't my type of episode. I wish they kind of did something a little different, or I wish she was like she wasn't Mandalorian or anything. Turns out she's like an ex-stormtrooper who went on the rebels, and now she's hiding out away from everyone. Much similar to what happened in Thor Ragnarok with that one lady. The fact is, it is a fantastic episode, but I kind of wish I had something different. The biggest thing that I noticed is Baby Yoda actually saw a Lothal cat that's actually from Star Wars Rebels, and I loved that Easter egg. That's obviously Dave Filoni saying hello. I love the Easter egg of the Lothal cats, but as for the rest of the episode, it was okay. I didn't really like the idea of the helmet coming off. There's this other lady there. She's a part of the tribe, and he's a mother of a child, and she starts liking the Mandalorian. I'm sorry, but this relationship is going a little bit too quickly here. Apparently, they've been there for months, but it doesn't feel that way. It feels like only a couple of days that they've been there. Turns out they've been there for months. And again, he's hiding out at their farm, their shrimp farm, hoping to get rid of. They are hoping he can get rid of the bandits, and he's hoping to find a place to hide with the baby. And I don't like the idea that we got to see that scene. He says he's never taken his helmet off before in front of someone else other than when he was like a kid. He was like maybe 7-8 years old last time he put the helmet on and showed it himself in front of the kids. So that's okay. We all kind of knew you have to take off the helmet to eat, and it makes sense that you would only do it in private. I actually like the lore that he wouldn't show his face to anyone, and I also like the lore that if you take the helmet off or someone takes the helmet off of you, then you obviously can't put the helmet back on. You can't become the Mandalorian, and that becomes interesting at the end of the episode because it's like he has this chance to take off the helmet, just settle down, and spend time with the Yoda baby as well as this new girl that he's starting to like, who is obviously crushing on him immediately as soon as she sees him. I mean, I feel like she has some history with the Mandalorians. I feel like she's going to come back and play during some time. What did I think about the whole character? Not much. She really wasn't interesting. They had to throw in some type of, this is why he would possibly stay when he's not going to. It's just not my type of episode. I liked it, but I didn't love it. It's about average. It's not bad, but it's about an average episode. And now, what I really did like is when they called in. Apparently, the bandits have an ATST, which, if you guys don't know what an ATST is, it's that weird thing you see in episode 6. It looks like the AT-AT, but it's smaller. It has 2 legs, kind of looks like a chicken almost. At least to me, it's always looked like a chicken. I like the fact that they called it an ATST, which means we can make the assumption that if this is called an ATST, then the AT-AT is called an AT-AT. I like that because I've never liked the word AT. AT just doesn't sound like something Star Wars. AT-AT sounds like something Star Wars. So I like the fact that they called this an ATST, which means AT-AT is probably pronounced AT-AT as well. watch. Next episode, there will be AAT out there and they'll call in at or something like that. But I thought that was fun. We actually get to see actually how dangerous those types of weapons were when they were used by the Empire, which was fun. And him basically helping the people of the farm become warriors and stuff like that. It's all good. It's just not something that I want to see. I like the fact that the Baby Yoda was starting to like it there. But what unfortunately happens is there's a bounty hunter with a tracker for the baby. The baby is still being tracked by the Empire, and unless he can do something about it, I don't think he can. Or maybe they're after him. They're after him too, not just the baby. I'm thinking that the only safe place he can go to would be either Mandalore or, of course, the New Republic, which, if he does do that, it wouldn't be till, Season 2. We know Season 2 is coming out. Now, the whole helmet thing coming off, I wish I didn't see that. We could have panned away from that. We understand that he's going to take his helmet off because he's going to eat here. But we didn't need to see the helmet, the physical helmet, come down off of the thing, because that only teases the fact that we're going to see this guy's face. And I don't want that. I don't like that idea. I want the Mandalorian to be the Mandalorian. Of course you will say, well, in the Clone Wars, tons of people take off their helmets. Well, here's the thing about the Mandalorians. They only take their helmets off around their family members. And this Mandalorian doesn't have any family members. He has guild members, and he also has warrior members. He has the Mandalorian cult that we saw in episode 3. But he doesn't have family to take off that helmet to. Now, what would be really interesting is I'm talking about, at the end of the series, Baby Yoda, he dies, and just before he dies, he takes off the helmet to see Baby Yoda, or Baby Yoda takes off his helmet to see him, similar to the way Luke took off Vader's helmet. I think that could be interesting, but I don't want to see this guy's face until the end of the series. I don't want him to take off that helmet till the end of the series. But that is all I have to say about this episode. I really loved the Thal cat. That was a really, really cool Easter egg. But that will be it for me. Thank you guys for watching, and I am out. Bye. Okay, so I was saying this video, and I just didn't feel like I made this clear enough, so I'm chiming in here at the last minute. I don't even have lights set up to do this or anything, but I want to make this clear. An average episode of The Mandalorian, I'd rather watch this 10 times over the Han Solo movie, basically. I'd rather watch an average episode of The Mandalorian. An average episode of The Mandalorian is 10 times better than what Disney Star Wars has produced in a long time, other than maybe Rogue One. So, yeah, I still absolutely loved this episode. I think it was about average, but as an average episode, it's still way better than anything Disney has come out with for a while. So, I just wanted to make that clear.